easier, right?
That was the way they traveled yesterday. Get this. Yes, party of three, please.
Purple camp.
What is that? Oh, good morning. Welcome to Honor Flight. What is the last name? It's going to be a lot harder.
So it's going all the way down. Lights going.
Did you? DC now?
Now they're going.
So you know, if it's bothering you.
Made it through 8 years.
Good morning. Welcome to Honor Flight Chicago. Woo!
Reporting immediately gate A17 for flight 1766 with service to Dallas.
The first flight.
Good morning.
How you doing?
We are going to begin boarding very shortly, so you'll be listening for some announcements. But before we do that, this is our 15th season, our flight 108, with the 119 senior war heroes here today. We'll have flown 10,187 senior war heroes to our nation. It's a special flight. They're all special, but today falls on Flag Day. And it's also, today is in memory of our longtime volunteer, Jack Walsh. Today Jack passed last year. He was him and his wife were tremendous, longtime, dedicated volunteers. So today we are flying Flight 108 in honor of his service to our country. Jack was a sailor, and his tremendous generosity and contributions to Honor Flight Chicago. Before we board, we have a special treat for all of you. We have a special guest this morning. He is the longtime public address announcer for the Chicago Cubs. If there's been a big sporting event in the city of Chicago or across the country, this gentleman has likely sung the national anthem at it. But most importantly, he and his wife Kathleen are tremendous friends of Honor Flight Chicago and tremendous friends of our veterans. Without further ado, Mr. Wayne Messman.
Thank you, John. Good morning. Big day. How many of you almost made it a couple months ago? Yeah. Well, today we're going. Clouds forget it. We're right through it. Hey, it is my honor to be part of this. People say, why do you do this honor flight? And I say, if you have to ask, you don't get it. So I know today we have 8 veterans who from the Korean War era, and let's give them a round of applause. And we have 111 of my vintage guys who served during the Vietnam War, and God bless you. Let's give a round of applause for these too. Every flight we always ask, well, how many World War II guys do we have? And today we're going without a single one. So we're losing that greatest generation, but we're never going to forget them. They saved the world. And for what you guys have all done, I know it's a phrase that people use all the time. Thank you for your service. And we certainly say that with all sincerity. But to my brothers who served in Vietnam, and again, I say this every single time, it may be 5 decades late, but from our hearts, welcome home. I love this so much that Saturday I'm going up to Mitchell Field in Milwaukee to send a bunch of guys up there to the Stars and Stripes honor flight. So, without further ado, let's see if you can sing at this time in the morning, and if I can as well. Let's do the great Irving Berlin classic. Let's warm up with God Bless America. What do you say? God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains through the prairies, through the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. In the words of Harry Carey, you never sounded better. All right. I've had the great honor and privilege of singing the national anthem, as John said, just about everywhere. 39 years with the Chicago Cubs, and with Blackhawks and Chicago Wolves, 5-time champion. So, over 5,000 times. And people say again, what's the best national anthem or most important you ever sang? And I always say it's the next one that I get to sing. So this is it. So let me hear you loud and strong and proud. And let's do it like we really mean it, because I know we do. Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets thread glare, the bombs bursting in air, it proved through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of
Smile, you're on camera.
Thank you.
Gonna go over here and then go down over here.
Welcome, sir. Appreciate it. More, sir.
The United States Air Force Memorial, dedicated on October 14, 2006, honors the service and legacy of the men and women of the United States Air Force and its heritage organizations. At the heart of the memorial, one will find a triangular prow bound by 3 stainless steel spires. The inspiration for the 3 spires soaring into the sky are fashioned after the contrails of the Air Force Thunderbirds as they peel back in a precision bomb burst maneuver during their flight demonstration. These spires are asymmetrical and dynamic, ranging in height from 230 to 270 feet tall, causing the view of the memorial to be different at every angle. The number 3 is also resonant, with significant associations for the Air Force, including their 3 core values of today: integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. Granite walls to the north and south contain inscriptions describing the valor and core values of aviation pioneers supporting the Air Force and its ancestor military organizations. Positioned in front of the southern wall stands a bronze honor guard, maintaining a constant salute day and night to all members of the United States Air Force and its predecessor organizations. In front of the northern wall stands a glass contemplation wall, a glazed independent panel portraying the missing man formation, flown in honor of a fallen Air Force member, symbolizing the presence of all those who are gone.
Representing every member, past and present, of the United States Air Force, your United States Air Force Honor Guard Drill Team!
Shake your head while we're doing
Oh, sorry.
How it is.
That's perfect. What are your credit cards and cash? Where do you want to go? I'll take you out to dinner.
The World War II Memorial, dedicated on May 29, 2004, honors the service of 16 million members of the Armed Forces of the United States of America, the support of countless millions on the home front, and the ultimate sacrifice of more than 400,000 Americans. Through stone architecture and bronze sculptures, the World War II Memorial recognizes the way America served, honors those who fell, and recognizes the victory they achieved to restore freedom and end tyranny around the globe. 12 bronze bas-reliefs decorate the walls of the memorial on either side as one approaches the ceremonial plaza. These reliefs chronologically highlight the experience of the war on the home front, placed in context with the battles being waged on land, sea, and air. 56 granite columns, representing each U.S. state and territory at the time of World War II, ring an impressive rainbow pool located in the heart of the memorial. Quotes by presidents, authors, and commanding officers, references to theaters, campaigns, and battles, and 2 massive victory pavilions representing the Atlantic and Pacific theaters chronicle the efforts Americans undertook to win the war. Within the victory pavilions, a large rendering of the World War II Victory Medal is centered upon the memorial floor. Directly above the Victory Medal, 4 stately American bald eagles, symbols not only of our nation, but of the armed forces, holds aloft an ancient symbol of victory, a laurel wreath. As one glances over the rainbow pool from the balcony of the Victory Pavilions, your field of vision is captured by a wall of 4,048 gold stars on the west side of the memorial, reminding all of the supreme sacrifice made by over 400,000 Americans to make that victory possible. This memorial thus stands as a testament and tribute to the legacy of the greatest generation.
Call it quits. Yeah. So now we're coming up.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Oh, they're good, they're good, they're good, they're good. Okay. Step over that way. Step over that way. Perfect. Perfect.
Not what you said, but okay.
I know it's not. Yeah. That's okay.
Color guard.
Yeah.
Present the color. Hand. Salute.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Will you now please join me in the saying of the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great job. Thank you.
Will you now bow your heads and join us in a moment of silence?
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Color guard, retire the colors.
All right, this concludes our ceremony, but how about hearing it for this fine group of American patriots behind me? We got 119 soldiers and airmen and Marines representing Vietnam and Korea. Let's give it to them. All right. Well, on behalf of a grateful nation and all of the liberties that you've enabled us to have over these 50 years. From the Honor Flight Chicago and every American, thank you very much for your all service. This is the beginning of a wonderful day, and I hope you guys can feel all the love. So thank you all very much. Woo! All right, so we're going to take a picture. We're going to take a picture here, so if you all can get the VIPs back in the picture. We got about 5 more minutes, and then we'll get you guys back on the bus.
Go ahead, get us there. Let's see how it's going.
The Korean War Veterans Memorial, dedicated July 27, 1995, commemorates the sacrifices of millions of Americans and Allied partners who fought during the Korean War. The memorial's Wall of Remembrance contains over 2,500 photos, selected from the National Archives, of men and women who served in the Korean War. 19 stainless steel statues, standing in a field of juniper bushes and polished granite strips, represents a platoon on patrol marching through rice paddies and over rough Korean terrain. Each statue stands 7 feet tall, weighing nearly 1,000 pounds, representing the Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marine Corps, and are proportionate to the percentage of participation in the Korean War by each branch. When combined with their reflection in the Wall of Remembrance, there is a total count of 38 figures, representing the 38th parallel forming the border between North and South Korea. The newest element to the Korean War Memorial is a Wall of Remembrance featuring the names of more than 43,000 U.S. service members and Korean augmentees to the U.S. Army who perished during the war. The names are arranged in order of rank and branch of service to demonstrate to visitors how the war's burden fell unevenly across the military. Another important element of the wall is that the names of the U.S. service members and Korean augmentees to the U.S. Army are not listed separately. Instead, they are mingled together, just as they fought together during the war. The Wall of Remembrance serves to remind those who visit the Korean War Memorial each year that freedom is not free.
I don't know why we need a Navy guy here, but
good boat rides.
All right, Paul, pay attention.
Yeah, you get good boat rides.
Yeah. Smile.
Built in the style of the Parthenon, the Lincoln Memorial, dedicated May 30th, 1922, has inspired generations. A 19-foot tall statue of President Abraham Lincoln gazes out from the solemn chamber of his memorial. Lincoln's imposing temple is surrounded by 36 columns, each representing a state in the Union at the time of his death in 1865. The interior of Lincoln's memorial features inscriptions of this revered president's most important speeches, the Gettysburg Address, and his second inaugural speech. Above these speeches are the murals named Emancipation and Unity. On the wall behind the Lincoln statue is an inscription that reads, "In this temple, as in the hearts of the people for whom he saved the Union, the memory of Abraham Lincoln is enshrined forever." The Vietnam Veterans Memorial Wall, dedicated on November 11, 1982, honors the men and women who served in the Vietnam War from 1959 until 1975. The Memorial Wall chronologically lists the names of more than 58,300 Americans who gave their lives in service to their country fighting in Vietnam and Southeast Asia, as well as those who were listed as missing in action during the war. Two arms consisting of 70 panels each form a wide V shape, with the eastern wall extending toward the Washington Monument and the western wall directed toward the Lincoln Memorial. Next to the names of those declared fallen, you will find a diamond shape etched in the granite. Next to those considered missing in action, you will find a cross. If a person currently marked as MIA returns alive, a circle would be etched around the cross. If the service member's remains are identified, a diamond would be superimposed over the cross. The In Memory plaque, dedicated on November 10, 2004, honors the men and women who served in Vietnam and later died from causes related to the war. Dedicated in 1993, the Vietnam Women's Memorial, portraying 3 women caring for a fallen soldier, pays tribute to the more than 265,000 women who served during the Vietnam era and is the first memorial in Washington, D.C. honoring women's military service. Young, armed, and wearing jungle combat gear, the 3 servicemen statue, dedicated on November 11, 1984, stands as a permanent watch over the wall. Veterans have stated, while there are distinguishing characteristics for each man, they still feel like they could be any soldier. It was the first representation of an African American on the National Mall.
So we're looking on the east side.
Yeah, 21 was it?
And then the next one would be S.
You know what line?
Marie Johnson, and then Wild. Guys, this is John Harris. Thank you. I'm so glad we found it. Doesn't that make the trip worth it right now?
Yeah.
Goes out to May 25th of 68. May 25th of 68. Let's go.
Mac Johnson, Adrian Johnson, Alan Johnson.
They're way at the bottom. You see, it's kind of hard. W27.
Tim, I got those.
Yes. Yeah, right here. Yeah.
The date of death, 68. December. Always. Same age, yeah.
Opened in 2003, the Stephen F. Udvar-Hazy Center, located next to Dulles International Airport in Northern Virginia, serves as a partner facility to the National Air and Space Museum, located in Washington, D.C. The two locations together attract more than 8 million visits per year, making the National Air and Space Complex the most popular museum in the United States. This expansive museum consists of 3 hangars. The Boeing Aviation Hangar houses dozens of historically significant aircraft and artifacts, including the Lockheed SR-71 Blackbird and the Concorde. The James S. McDonnell Space Hangar houses dozens of spacecraft, including the Space Shuttle Orbiter Discovery. A more recently added hangar, the Mary Baker Engine Restoration Hangar, is where scientists and engineers work to restore artifacts from the Air and Space Museum's massive collection.
Good evening, honored flight
HFC108. What a day. We asked you to get up early, but boy, did we see a lot. See and do a lot, right? I see a lot of head shaking. I'm constantly asked, how do we pull it all off? How do we coordinate it? How do we put it together? And the answer is pretty simple to me. We simply have the world's best volunteers, hands down, bar none, best volunteers. Our orange shirts, our red shirts, our green shirts, even our blue shirts. I just want them to know how much we appreciate them. Today we honored and paid tribute to one of those dedicated volunteers who we lost last year. Jack Walsh not only served his country in the Navy, but he admirably served his veterans, our senior war veterans. He was a dedicated volunteer who made such an impact on our organization, and today we pay tribute and remember Jack Walsh. This is our, yes. This is our 15th season, and through 108 flights, we've flown over 10,000 veterans to our nation's capital to see the memorials that were built in their honor and to receive their long overdue day of gratitude. Today we had 119 of those senior war veterans with us. What I'm most proud of is the depth and breadth of our program today. The many ways that we are touching those in the community and showing them that we owe a debt of gratitude to our military heroes. I'd like to thank our partners and our supporters who make these trips possible. I'm sure most of you on this plane had some contact with Doug and Edna in the office. I'd like to thank them for their continued creativity and dedication to our mission. Most of all, I'd like to thank our senior war heroes. The 111 Vietnam War heroes we have with us today, and the 8 Korean War heroes that we have with us today. When we were touring the memorials today, I'd like to remind you, you may have seen the quote. It was at the tip of the triangle in the Korean War Memorial, and it said, "Our nation honors her sons and daughters who answered the call to defend a country they never knew and a people they never met." Those are the patriots that I'm looking at right now, 119 of them with us here today. I spoke with many of you today, and you said what a wonderful day it was. But I ask of you, keep it going. This is a one-day trip, but it doesn't have to be a one-day experience. From today forward, wear your service with pride. Tell your stories. They deserve to be heard, and we deserve to hear them. There's many ways to get involved with Honor Flight Chicago. I'm so proud, as I said, of the depth and breadth of the way we're touching the community with programs like our veteran interviews, our podcast. We just reached 50 podcasts where we have in-depth interviews with and hear firsthand accounts from our veterans. Our Operation Education program is now directly touching over 200 schools in the Chicagoland area, connecting our youth and our senior veterans, showing them the importance of service. So there's plenty of ways to stay involved. A few years back, I heard a veteran say, when simply asked how his day was, he said, "Before today, I didn't realize anyone cared." Hopefully, all of you after today realize that there's many of us out there who care and care deeply. So thank you. When you were stationed away from home, whether it was across the U.S., out at sea, overseas, what besides warm shower, what were your favorite 2 words to hear?
It's an mail call.
Yes, mail call. Mail call. We have mail call for each and every one of you. Mr. Edward Cook, Mr. Thomas Cooper, Mr. Robert Denke, Mr. John Dennehy, Mr. Ralph DeShape, Mr. Tim Sheehan, Mr. August Cisco, Mr. Terry Constantino, Mr. Thomas Hanzik, Mr. Richard Jenkins, Mr. Kenneth Holmes, Mr. Nathaniel Holmes, Mr. Dennis Jensen, Mr. Ron Johnson, Mr. Willie Smith, Mr. Ronald Sprika, Mr. John Stewart.
Yeah.
His second Stewart.
Mr. Donald Duffy, Mr. Chris Drkekis, Mr. John Duty, Mr. Samuel Edgen, Mr. Narvin Epperson, Mr. Norman Ellison, Mr. Joseph Sebring, Mr. Carl Schoenemann, Mr. John Sauerbar, Mr. Terrence Shaughnessy, Mr. Raven Severo, Mr. Lawrence Rediger, Mr. Richard Hernandez, right there, Mr. Roger Hoffman, Mr. Fred Hoffmeyer,
Woohoo! Welcome to Chicago! Behalf of the city of Chicago, they welcome you Southwest style. My daughter's in the hospital. She fell off the stage and used purple to take it out. She doesn't know how to now.
All right, we'll get her done. Yeah. Ready? Walk on. I sir, you see about it. Yeah, get that.
in Texas, there's a guy who plays the best piano by far. He can play piano any way that you like it, but the way he likes to play is A to the bar. When he plays it's a ball, he's the daddy of them all. People gather around when he gets on the stage, and when he plays, he gets a hand. The rhythm he beats puts the class in the train. Nobody there bothers to dance when he plays with the bass and guitar. They holler, "Oh, beat me, Daddy, A to the bar." Come on now, everybody, let's rock. Everybody in the whole sound bar, they dance to the tail of the rock. Spidey Murphy played the tenor saxophone, Little Joey blowing on his high trombone. Drummer boy from Illinois, the Fishman Band. The whole rhythm section was the Purple Gang. Let's rock. Everybody, let's rock. Everybody in the whole sound bar, they dance to the tail of the rock. They made the song of you, the boy was on the sand. They brought him down because he couldn't jam. The captain seemed to understand, because the next time the captain went out, he dropped to the band. Now the company jumps when he was shoveling. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy, company big. Toot, toot, tootly out and tune his own to the bar. The boogie rhythm, he can't go in notes unless the basic guitar's playing with him. He makes the company jump when he was shoveling. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy, company big. He was the boogie woogie bugle boy, company big. And when he plays boogie woogie bugle, he was busy as a busy bee. Sincerely, oh, you know how I love you. I'll do anything for you. Please say you'll be mine. Oh Lord, won't you tell me why I love that fella so? He doesn't want me, but I'll never, 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 never let him go sincerely. Oh, you know how I love you. Will be, there you go. When I grew up and fell in love, I asked my sweetheart what eyes I had. Will we have rainbows day after day? Here's what my sweetheart said. Come on, y'all. It's not love. Oh my goodness. Whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. They said what will be, will be. Here's my story, it's sad but true. It's about a boy that I once knew. He took my love and ran around with every single girl in town. Hey, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, hey, oh, hey, ra-ba-ba-ba, hey, hey, oh, hey, hey, from the very start, this boy will leave me with a broken heart. I'm telling you, I keep away from a runaround stew. I miss his lips and his smile on his face, the touch of his hand and his guy's warm embrace. So if you don't want to cry like I do, keep away from a runaround stew. away from Stu. He likes to travel around. Yeah, he loves when he puts it down. People want to tell the world Stu goes out with the girls. Here's a moral story from the girl who dated him. I fell in love and my love something new. Love and dated and keep away from a run around Stu. Keep away from that guy. I don't know what he'll do now. Oh, keep away from Stu. Tell me why I love that fella so. Bye bye love, bye bye happiness, hello loneliness. I think I'm gonna cry. Sweet caress, hello emptiness. I feel like I could die if I'm my love goodbye. I'm through with romance, I'm through with love, I'm through with counting the stars above. And here's the real